I'm going to ask you a question you may not like. How long do you think you have? 20, 30, 40 years? What about just until tomorrow, or when you go to sleep tonight? What if you died? Right now. It's something you may tend to shy away from acknowledging, but you will die one day. Everyone will. Everyone you have ever known, loved, or cared about will be dead one day. And now, having this knowledge fresh in your mind, how do you deal with that? How do you continue on being a nervous system, telling a heart to beat? Being a finely tuned flesh wrapped up in slightly more appealing dead flesh. I don't mean to make you uncomfortable, but it's unsettling, isn't it? To become so viscerally aware of yourself, your fragility, and your mortality. Why do we hide from these thoughts? Why do we run from them, avoid them like the plague? Because death isn't a plague. Living is. Death is just the universe curing it. Death is something we all must contend with at some point, whether it's in the loss of a loved one, or the acknowledgement that our loved ones will lose us. Being healthy is a direct response to the knowledge of our mortality. You just might not think of it that way. You scratch at the surface of a dark ocean, seeing only droplets of the water that extends forever below you. Though there does not have to be fear here, you do not have to feel helpless. This video is a direct response to my mortality. In making this, I leave a legacy. I leave these messages in bottles so they may float across the World Wide Web for long after I'm gone. There are many other forms of this. Writing books, writing music, creativity as a whole. Having children, creating offspring, and instilling your values into them. Reproduction is the passing on of genetics, the very system that made you the way you are. In a way, you will never die if your genetics, however diluted over time, keep being passed on. You are made up of countless systems working in tandem. Your respiratory system brings oxygen into the lungs. Your cardiovascular system delivers nutrients and oxygen to all other parts of the body. These and all the other systems in your body are subject to many opportunities to fail. Diseases, genetic disorders, outside invaders, or traumatic injuries, all the things that keep you alive are fragile. And when these systems fail, and your brain shuts down, you die. All the things that made you, will be gone. You may still look like you when you're given a funeral, but you'll only be an outside, a puppet dressed up so that it conjures the memory of a time it had a puppet master. People will cry. They'll talk about you. They may even share a few laughs. But you won't be there for that. Only your body will. As you may have been able to tell from my last video, I'm not particularly religious. I don't believe we have souls, but I do believe there is something within us that serves the purpose of a soul. Likely it's something to do with our brains and how complex they are. After all, they're complex enough to form consciousness, a level of awareness above simple sensory intake, a part of you that is aware of its own awareness. This is what is missed most when we die. Not necessarily the rise and fall of our chest, or the way our lips curl into smiles, or the glimmer that sits inside our eyes. It's us. Our words, our interactions with others, our capacity to know and listen and understand, to care and love and be with people. This is what matters to people. when you're here, and even more so when you're gone. Life is, in part, the ability to have conscious impact and to be impacted. Not just on the surface, like an abrasion to skin, a meteor to a planet's surface, but deeper, without any scars or marks left over, an impact onto who you are and what you think and what you feel. That leaves you when you die. Your mind can begin to die before your body, though. Dementia and Alzheimer's are examples of a decaying mind within an otherwise living body. It's a terrifying thing to experience, and an arguably equally horrible thing to watch happen. Watching someone die from any illness is horrendous to experience. Depression and suicidal ideation is another example of a mind dying before a body. Not because it dies of illness or an external cause, but because it is scared to death of the pain it's in. That's something I've experienced with. I don't think there's much hyperbole when I say that it felt like I was dying. Not in the same way that someone dies of an illness of the body, but in that I was inching closer to death anyway. I don't think I always understood why people who survive illnesses are called fighters and strong. Their bodies did most of the work. It's not like their mind could have just given up and their body would have followed suit. But then I realized it could. Just like it did for me. Even though my body wasn't sick, only my mind was. It's easy to feel hopeless when you're reminded of how temporary you are, but it's all a matter of perspective. Because you can feel hopeful when you're reminded of how temporary you are. Because you have a finite amount of time to do what you love. So you'd better fill that time with as much love as you can. If you asked me if I wanted to live forever, I'd say no. Not just because life is pain, which it is in part, but because what point is there in a friendly sporting event if the timer and scores can go on forever? That old adage in every pop song is right, no matter how cliche it sounds. Live as though tomorrow is your last day. Not in case it is, but in case it isn't.